We're more connected than ever. Why do we feel so alone? Let's cure loneliness by bringing together families from all over the world, a collection of artists, music, poetry, joy, healing, connection, one family, one world, one unforgettable night, the World Family Experience on August 29th. Get your ticket, log in from anywhere. Let's unite in love. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of News and Views. My name is Elmira. I am your host. Today, we are discussing the legacy of financial fear. As always, these stories stem from a personal situation in my life or something someone I know is encountering. And this has been my story here recently, especially since in 2022 I stated emphatically and with a surety, I am a millionaire. Some things started to come up. My own financial fears, the fears of my ancestors, the fears of my people, known as black people, copper colored people, whatever you want to term them. And there is a strong legacy that is built on inheritance, lived experience, and in this story today, we're going to talk about how can we overcome this fear, this financial fear. Where do we want to begin? Let's actually begin with some exploration, with a little bit of research and see, do black people fear being rich? Because this can be applicable to anyone, but I got to talk about myself because this is where I am. This is and we have in this country, in the United States of America, there is a deep history of inheritance, and this is why the fear is there. When black people got rich, we inherited real estate, we started businesses, we had more money than our white counterparts. We were killed, we were shunned, legal action. I've only had, and I'll discuss that, maybe we'll get to that later. I've had my own experience with that in 2016, just 10 years ago. So, yes, we will begin with that, looking into why is this fear even relevant, because this is how I got here, and I discovered some terms and we'll get into it, because this is a mixed bag with psychology, history, mindset, um wealth consciousness. There's so much wrapped into this legacy of financial fear. My initial question was this: do blacks fear being rich? Because you always often hear, especially if you're in the business spaces, entrepreneur, business owners, people are always talking about fear of success. And I was like, is that okay? This lipstick is really bothering me today. Okay, I wish I had something to put that on, but okay, this is real news over here. You often hear about the fear of success, but I wanted to take it a step further to pose the question: do blacks fear being rich? Because it's not just the success, it's the wealth that comes along with that level of success. While there is no inherent fear of wealth itself, many Black Americans experience complex emotional and cultural barriers to building and discussing wealth. This is often rooted in the severe historical trauma of systemic economic oppression and ongoing realities of the racial wealth gap. Just to give you an example of what they're discussing, me saying I want to become a millionaire cannot be discussed with everybody in my family, everybody that I know, because most will say, and people have said stuff, maybe they didn't say it explicitly, but the look on their face or the shunning, or why would you want to go do that? They don't see it as a possibility. They don't see it as something you should strive towards. Why would you want to do that? And we're looking at the reasons why many in the black community are saying, why would you want to pursue that? There is danger in pursuing that. You could get killed, literally. Sociologists, financial counselors, and researchers included the study by Pew Research Centers identify several factors that contribute to this phenomenon. The black tax and survivor's guilt. I felt some of this myself. Many high income or newly wealthy black individuals report experiencing heightened pressure to financially support extended family members and friends. If y'all grew up during the time when MC Hammer was around, he suffered from this. He lost a lot of his money because he wanted to help everybody. He wanted to help all his family, all the bandmates. And y'all know when that dude performed, he had like 30 people on the stage, 50, 100. He was my first concert I ever went to see back in 1991 or 1992. I was a little girl, middle school age. But this is what's involved with being wealthy, the cost of visibility. Data from organizations like NPR indicates that high income black Americans face more negative assumptions and incidents of bigotry compared to lower income peers. For some, this visibility makes accumulating and publicly displaying wealth feel dangerous or burdensome. You can and to me, this could be applicable to those celebrities who are highly visible and people who are not so visible. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey, Cardi B, Beyonce, Tyler Perry. People talk bad about them just because they have a high level of wealth. And I'm not saying everything that they do, every decision that they make is reputable, moral, equitable, but there's a cost that comes with this. Generational trauma and mistrust, the historical legacy of having wealth destroyed, Tulsa Race Massacre, yes, or being locked out of financial systems, redlining. This happened in every city across America. I grew up in Virginia. This happened in Richmond. This happened in Charleston. This happened in Nashville, where I used to live. This happened in Atlanta. You name the city. There was redlining. I know there's an area in Nashville called Bordeaux, and a great portion of the city they used to build the interstate. That was customary. Consequently, many black families favor traditional low risk saving methods over wealth building assets like stocks or real estate. We don't want to get caught. We don't want to get caught getting killed again. I mean, this is a real fear. Think about this for your ancestry, your history. Where is your financial fear rooted? Is it within your generation? Is it in your parents' generations, your grandparents' generation? You may be an immigrant. You may have grown up here in the United States, but your history is clouded with so many reasons to fear climbing the social ladder, fear climbing, earning more than your peers. There's so many things. Okay, I got another question because you know me. I heard of, of a term called Plu Plutophobia. What is this? Plutophobia is determined as the irrational and intense fear of wealth or becoming wealthy. The term originates from Plutus, the ancient Roman and Greek god of wealth, combined with phobia. Oh, I didn't even know this. So even though we have the planet Pluto, Pluto is associated with wealth too. Rather than just being anxious about taxes or bills, individuals experience Plutophobia, experience profound psychological distress. So this is actually a psychological condition. It comes with history. A lot of things we study in psychology is not just, oh, somebody's just thinking wrong. No, this is can be passed down. These are ideas that can be passed down. You know, we hear stuff about obsessive compulsive disorder. We hear about anxiety. We hear about bipolar disorder. This is a real phobia. Individuals experiencing Plutophobia experience profound psychological distress around the concepts of money, material abundance, and rich people. Here's my thought about phobias or about psychological conditions in its entirety. They're a gradient. Just because somebody may not have an extreme fear of being wealthy does not mean they do not possess an ounce of this, because I can say this has happened to me and may still be there in some elements. How it manifests: fear of having wealth, deep anxiety regarding the massive responsibilities, lifestyle changes. I'll tell you how this showed up for me. I remember years ago, I met with a business coach and she asked me, "What do you want your monthly income to be?" And at that time, I wanted to be 4K because that was a goal. I hadn't made 4K consistently, not at a job, not in my business, nothing. So at that point, I was able to achieve it, and my thermostat was set at 4K. And for years and years and years, I could not go beyond that because there was a fear. Subconscious. These things manifest subconsciously. Plutophobia manifests subconsciously. The financial fear manifests subconsciously. Because I said, so now I've set a new thermostat, 10K. And it seems challenging because I don't know many people around me who earn 10K a month. I know them. I know many business owners who earn 100K a month, 200K a month, 500K a month. But because I don't want to leave behind the people that I know, the people that I love, there's this fear. There's this innate fear of wealthy people, an intense discomfort around or an avoidance of individuals who possess significant. This used to be me. Even in business spaces, let me tell you what I would do. I'm only telling you this story so you can recognize it within yourself, because this may be you, and this is how you can break the cycle of financial fear, this legacy, because it ends with you. I used to go to networking events and I could tell if this man or woman was wealthy. And you're like, how can you tell? Well, they just looked a certain way or they spoke a certain way. But I felt, because I spoke in my language, I'm little black girl from the Richmond area of Virginia, I don't deserve to speak to them. But that was a lie. That was my stinking thinking back then. I feared wealthy people because I did not feel I was worthy. It had nothing to do with them. It was an ounce of plutophobia, y'all. Subconscious self sabotage. That's what I was doing. Individuals might intentionally turn down lucrative promotions, pass on great investments, or quickly spend windfall money to return to a lower. I've done that too. You know how, and you got to ask yourself this: why am I doing this? I earned 10K in my business. Why did it go as quickly as it came? I won 40K in the lottery. Why did I spend it instead of investing it? This stuff all manifests, all underlying psychological causes: fear of losing identity, a worry that wealth will change your personality, make you greedy or Ellen. And you know, they be teaching us this in the church. Oh, money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money. So you think you're going to lose your identity and can't hang out with your friends, the other friends, because they ain't got no money. Internalized shame. Have you been there? Internalizing negative societal narratives such as money is the root of all evil or all rich people are corrupt. This is such a lie, which makes them feel unworthy of financial success. Fear of failure or robbery, high anxiety about the constant threat of losing everything once they attain it. So you may think, "Oh my goodness, I've earned this in my business. I've earned this with my family. We invested in stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever it is, farming, whatever you invested in, and you fear losing it." It can show up as, y'all know I'm big on this. It can show up as physical symptoms. Like most specific phobias, it is highly treatable through cognitive behavioral therapy. This is a solution. Do you have some of this? exposure therapy, and financial counseling to help reshape the individual's core beliefs about money. Do you know what helped me? Money mindset. Really getting into examining why did I have these beliefs and rewriting it. Because some of it's not mine and some of it's not yours. It's ancestral. It's in the blood. It comes from your lines, your family lines, whatever your family history is. And you know what my family history is. I mean, you may not know, but you have an idea of what copper colored people have endured in this nation. You only can imagine. I've said it on this channel before. My mom was the first amongst the first class across the whole nation in 1970 to go to an integrated school. And that's a whole nother loaded story within itself, but just you know what came with that. Okay, I got another question because this is something I noticed too. Um, why is Plutophobia treated as a joke? I've noticed people online joking about this. It's frequently treated as a joke because it clashes with fundamental human survival instincts and the prevailing capitalist narrative that financial success is the ultimate life goal. So there's like this juxtaposition. Okay, you should want money, but ha 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 ha, you're actually afraid of money. No, that's how it works. It works in the love arena too. Most people want love. They want a caring relationship where a partner sees them for who they truly is, but many people stray away from it. That's why they attract unworthy partners. They get in friends with benefits because they fear internally. We actually fear the thing we say we truly desire. Let me say that again. We actually fear the thing we say we truly desire, fearing money. And a lot of it comes from what we were taught about money, what the collective consciousness is about money, not the true nature of financial freedom, not the true nature of wealth, is what we've been taught about wealth. Oh, it's gonna make you bad. All the billionaires are bad. Da, 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 da. That's because they not activating what money truly is. Money is God. To the average person, fearing the very thing that buys safety, food, healthcare, and freedom seems absurd or performative. The perceived suffering from success paradox. In mainstream culture, wealth is heavily equated with the elimination of problems. But this ain't true neither. You can still eliminate your problems without having money. It's a mindset. Because I can have, and this is something I had to learn through the training I did with going through multiple coaches. You have to be the same you, whether you have $0 or whether you have $1 million. It should not change you. Yes, it gives you access. Yes, it allows you to help more people, to serve more people, to build this. But it should not change you. In mainstream culture, wealth is heavily equated with the elimination of problems. Okay, we just talked about that. Because most people struggle with the exact opposite fear, the fear of poverty. Hearing that someone is physically terrified of becoming rich sounds like a first world problem, but it's not. This is a black people problem. Because we've seen historically where becoming wealthy may get you killed, may get you shunned, may get you in a legal battle. That's what happened to me. That white lady sued me because me and my other black female colleague were doing better than her. So you're like, I don't want to do that because being successful is socially demanding. It's financially demanding. I'm going to have to pay out legal fees or I'm going to have to die. My gosh. Okay, let's talk about this point. Lack of immediate life threatening danger. Most widely understood phobias are tied to ancient evolutionary survival mechanisms such as fears of height. Because money is a modern social construct rather than an apex predator, a visceral physical panic reaction to material abundance strikes people as unnatural, irrational, or punchline for social media memes. But it shouldn't be because it's not irrational. Because if we are going around in the collective consciousness saying money is evil, why do you think people won't be afraid to get money? Because you called it evil. So I don't want to be determined evil, so I'm going to develop a phobia. It do make sense, but we laugh. This is why comedy is the best evidence of truth. Because you can find so much truth in what people laugh at. So this should not be laughed at. This is a serious issue. Misunderstanding of phobia versus dislike. The internet and casual conversation often dilute the definition of a phobia. People frequently mistake Plutophobia for just hating rich corporate culture. That's not true. Or because it's not just that. That's simplifying it. That's minimizing it. Or practicing minimalist lifestyle. This completely ignores the agonizing reality of the clinical disorder. And it is a clinical disorder. And remember, we stated this could be a gradient. You may not be clinically categorized as plutophobic, but you can still have 10%, 20% that's affecting your ability to achieve wealth, the wealth you want. This completely ignores the agonizing reality of the clinical disorder. Individuals who experience genuine panic attacks, nausea, deep distress when forced to manage money, receive a salary raise, or opening a bank statement. Think about it. Think about these people, football stars, basketball stars, tennis stars, what have you. They get $1 million contract. How do you know they don't go through some of this? Panic attacks, nausea, having to manage that amount of money, having their family come at them with, hey, can I have this? Can I get this? Can I borrow this? Can you loan me this? That's a real phobia. You get sick off of people wanting your money. Cultural conditioning and the American dream is another reason people scoff at this. Global society strongly incentivize the pursuit of wealth, positioning it as the ultimate reward for hard work. You know what I got to say about this? Because this innately is stating why people laugh at this. Most people talk about the American dream because they treat it as a dream and they don't treat it as a possible reality for them. And let me tell you what I mean. People dream all day, but they never activate the dream. They'll live 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years and say, oh, I'm just comfortable with this life, but if I had it my way, I would have bought a mansion or I would have never worked that job. Why are you living somebody else's dream? This is cultural conditioning at its finest. Stop. Live your life. Don't keep this as a pie in the sky type thing. If you want to be a millionaire, be the millionaire. Go after it. Actively go after it. Undo some of these financial fears. Get in touch with what you really want. Don't allow this phobia or any fear to overtake you. Anything that anybody has said to you, don't allow that to stop you. You know that God gave you a vision, a huge vision over your life, for your life. And yes, you may have inherited thing. Yes, there may be some historical components of this financial fear, but that does not have to stop you. That does not have to mark you like a scarlet letter on your chest. No, you still fight, just like many of your ancestors have. You got to go for it because you're doing it for them. That's one thing I know I'm telling within myself. That's another reason why my vision is to heal the entire world with hearts and hands. I'm doing this for my ancestors who lived before me and for the ones who are to come, for my niece and my nephews who are here right now. It's a must. I cannot be mediocre. You cannot be mediocre. Do not allow this fear to overtake you. Okay, I want to show you something because this was an example of what we just discussed. Why people or how people laugh at this particular phobia. I discovered this particular snapshot from a news station. It's called the Daily Blast Live. I want to give credit and courtesy to them for this particular share. And they are talking about Plutophobia. I will interject at some points during this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they're not going to call me. They're just say, Dad! You know?
Erica, here's another one called Plutophobia. Do you have any idea what Plutophobia is?
No.
Being 9 states away.
What do
Being
you think?
scared of being left out because Pluto was left out of the solar system.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. What about Pluto the Disney character? Maybe people have a fear of Pluto the Disney character.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're all wrong. It's the fear of money. Can we see?
Definitely.
Yeah, the fear of money.
Definitely don't have that. What's the opposite of that?
Having a lot of money.
Keep on scrolling.
Okay.
The
Well,
fear of having a lot of money and managing it.
you have like an interesting view of finances because you've spoken openly about bankruptcy.
Yeah. Oh, no, no.
You know, I got to make a point about this because me being a black woman, but this is not by chance. On this broadcast, you see the makeup of the people on this anchor desk. They had to single her out to discuss finances, to discuss her bankruptcy, knowing some of them probably been through bankruptcy or financial issues too, but they use her as the example. This is not by chance, y'all. Sometimes you got to pay attention to this stuff in broadcasting, in how people highlight some of these things. They were up there joking about it. Oh, what is it? Oh, is it Pluto the dog? Is it the seventh planet, eighth planet, ninth planet? Oh, who could be so irrational that they were fear money? Oh, but you dealt with bankruptcy. But you know what? Even though they're pointing this out with her, we gonna flip this to the positive because that's what we always do on news and views.
No, no. I
Do you have
definitely
this?
have. No, I have financial anxiety, yes, but it's not from having money. It's from not having money.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. Yeah.
What would you call yours if you could have like a little acronym or a slogan for yours?
I don't know. I don't want to go back there, is what I would call that. No, I think anyone who's experienced
don't
any
wanna
type
go
of
back there.
financial insecurity, there's this ongoing thing. So I just prepare as much as I can now, knowing what the possibility of not preparing can be.
Is there a phobia of not having money? Of going back? That's
Yes,
That's what this is.
No, that's
No,
of
that's
having
too much money.
Okay, I got to make a point about this from a healing perspective because she's stating, I fear going back there. And yes, that is true. She doesn't want to experience bankruptcy anymore. However, there can be a reframe of that in stating, no, I don't want to go back there, but these are the lessons that I've learned. Because sometimes when we allow that fear of not going back, that fear of me losing the money, it will overtake us and we will lose the money because we're so focused on that. That's how the mind works. That's how the subconscious mind works. That's how the psychology works. That's how energy works. I'm giving so much energy to this fear of possibly going back into bankruptcy, of possibly facing financial insecurity anymore. How about I put my energy on financial security? Look at what I can get. Oh my goodness, look at how far I've come since the bankruptcy. And I'm only stating this from personal experience and experience of other people I've witnessed in the business space in my realm. Where your energy goes, the attention flows. I may have misquoted that, but I'm going to say it Elmira way because that's what it is. Energy equals attention. Attention equals energy. It's an equation. So you can't just focus on losing, focus on gaining. Yes, be mindful. Okay, there's a history of this, but keep the majority of your time, the majority of your energy focus on how much you can gain, how much you can earn, how much you can get.
See, that's what I don't get.
And not knowing how to manage it, which money management is that's a lot of anxiety too.
Right.
Can I tell a quick little story?
Yeah.
I know we got to get to these. My wife, every day in the school.
Okay. I don't like how he interjected right there, but that was the basic gist of that. Because what's wrapped up in this fear is, can I manage it? She just alluded to it. If I have 50K a month, do I know how to manage it? I haven't seen anybody. I'm just giving an example. You might say, I haven't seen anybody I know manage 50K. That's why you get assistance. You get help. I don't know anybody who can manage 120K a month. Get assistance, get help. Don't fear it because you don't know how to manage it. Yes, it may be valid because it's a new experience. However, overcome, reframe your brain, reframe your heart, reframe your energy, and you don't have to stay in financial fear. That does not have to be a legacy you pass on for yourself or the next generation. Because why? Why does that have to be a continued legacy? Yes, it may have existed in the past, but it doesn't have to be. I do want to talk about this because this is another point when it comes to the legacy of financial fear. We've talked about it, and there have been recent cases of, I'm going to call them lynching. They can be modern day lynching. Y'all just heard about the young man who was on the 4th of July weekend. Young man, last name Wells. Now there's more to this story than they're saying, because I made a discovery today. He has the same last name as Ida B. Wells, who was a writer. She wrote against lynching in the 1800s. So what are the chances that we encounter this young man? They be using these stories as propaganda to get us tied up, to get us in fear. Again, it's not just financial fear, it's just fear across the board. They don't want us to be in love. They don't want us to be in unity. They don't want us to be in unison. They want us separated. So let's get back to the lynching, modern day lynching. It's more covert now. But back then, they used to do it. And the reason they would lynch these men is they were leaders in the community. They didn't lynch poor people. I'm not saying that never occurred, but for the most part, these were entrepreneurs. These were uh, church leaders. Maybe they were men, prominent men in the community that they knew were doing something well. They had to get rid of them because they were competition. They were wealth. Just like in my court case. That lady wanted to get rid of us, get rid of our business. She thought she could take us out. No, we continued doing business next door to her, and that made her skin crawl. This is the thing. It's a real fear. You might get burnt. You might get lynched. You might get killed. They might burn your house. They might put a cross on your yard. Any of this. Want to show you this. This is something I was exposed to about 2 weeks ago on Young Elder's channel. He was speaking to a gentleman who goes by the name of Voodoo Priest, talking about the historical context of black people being lynched, why, and what this has to do with all of this legacy of the Moors and financial fear. Let me pull up that video and share it with you.
He was my slave. Remember, we have light bulb all over Egypt. Egypt already got light bulb long ago. So what are they talking about? Egypt already show you helicopters, show you spacecraft, show you all of this shit. Like, well, what are we doing? But they don't want you to know that.
Hey,
Okay, they gotta
yeah.
hide it. They gotta hide it.
Hey,
Now they give
this
you the
my
civil
next.
rights.
This is my next question, man. Because me, I'm a Moor. I don't give a damn whatever.
Remember, let
Like,
me say this again. Listen, you see the more, the real one, the good one, they were known as Sharifian. They called them Sharifian.
yeah,
The
sheriff.
Sharif were
Yeah,
the real
sheriff.
one.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
be real
I
about it.
mean,
People got to know the difference. There's dirty
yeah.
more. Remember, we were working together as one until some of us
Mm-hmm.
backstab each other. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
was saying. It was a backstab because of marriage. Some was, feel like, no, man, fuck all that. Let's destroy the whole system. Remember, there was good and bad. So there's dirty Moors and there's good one. The one I
Yeah.
respect is the Sharif one. Those that got the feathers on top of their head. They never forget who they are. These were mixing, okay? These were the children of here and mixed with those over there. Okay, and they make sure when they got the turban, they always got the what we call the feathers on top of the
Yeah,
turban.
and they come,
Those are
they
the
bump,
good ones.
yeah, and they got it to the right. They got the test. We
Okay,
coming off the right.
so I
Now,
gotta
this is
be
my
real.
question though. This is my question. Now, based on my research on studying over here on the land, in the COINTELPRO operations and who set the COINTELPRO operations up with the killer clowns, the Shriners, 13 Shriners, all this, right? I don't know if you know that whole rundown on these guys and how they looking for the child, the black Messiah, or whatever, right? You know about that, the Black Death Messiah thing at COINTELPRO, JF Hoover, right? And then you know about these killer clowns who got the Shrine of hospitals, who set up all the Walt Disney's, who set up Six Flags, all of the places where the kids go and come up missing, right? These guys, when you mention the word more, or if you associate with it, they get real angry and they put all they might to either if you got some following and influence like Dr. Malachi York or like Noble Jew Ali or like Jeff Ford who became L. Rookins, right? When you go into this, boom, it seems like to me they put all their money, all their whole might into stopping us. They don't give a damn if we call out what we call ourselves, long as we don't say call ourselves more. When we call ourselves more, it seems like they got a problem with it. Why do you think they got a problem?
Okay, let me pause it right there because he said a lot, and without context, you may be thinking, what does this have to do with this story? It has a lot to do with this story because we, as quote unquote black people, have been renamed throughout history. Moors, Negro, African American, colored, but they're all the same people. And this is who they have a problem with. The people doing the lynching, the people doing the who see us as competition. That's why the financial fear exists because they have a problem with the more. Go back and do some history on this, but I'm going to let him continue to speak, both of them.
With it? If it's nothing to it, it means dead. It means all of what you said.
Now
Why
remember,
why the killer
I
clown?
gave you
Okay, go
those
ahead.
terms. I apply these terms in different culture in different
I feel you.
scenario. You feel me?
I
So I
feel you.
said before, some people when you say more, it mean darker skinned people. There's a group of people that believe it like that if you go to Europe. But that's some part of Europe. When you say more, it mean you're a dead person. They hate you. That's where racism comes from. That's why a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them, when they see you, they feel like, yo, we should lynch you.
Listen to that. When they hear the word more or they hear the word black, it means a dead person. So even with you not earning a certain amount of money, that puts you more at risk, yes. But just by you being in existence and having fun and having a good life, they want you dead. Some of these folks want you dead. And it's historical. So we can't ignore this when we talk about wealth consciousness. It's lived experience, it's inherited hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago because of what somebody else said. And you have to recognize, are you feeling that? And you can clean it up. Do some energy work. Do some intergenerational trauma healing because that may be the one thing holding you back from your own wealth. That may be the one thing why the fear just keeps grabbing tight to you. And again, I said it earlier, it's not always yours. This could be a fear that existed 3 generations back because one of your ancestors got killed for being rich. Let's continue.
The black Messiah or whatever, right? You know about that, the Black Death Messiah thing at COINTELPRO, JFK Hoover, right? And then you know about these killer clowns who got those Shrine hospitals, who set up all the Walt Disney's, who set up Six Flags, all the places where the kids go and come up missing, right? These guys, when you mention the word more, when you or if you associate with it, they get real angry and they put all their might to either if you got some following and influence like Dr. Malachi York or like Noble Jew Ali or like Jeff Ford who became L. Rookins, right? When you go into this, boom, it seems like to me they put all their money, all their whole might into stopping us. They don't give a damn if we call out what we call ourselves. Long as we don't say to call ourselves more. When we call ourselves more, it seems like they got a problem with it. Why do you think they got a problem with it if it's nothing to it? It means dead. It means all of what you said.
Now, remember,
Why
I gave you those terms. I apply these terms in different culture in different scenario. You feel me? So I said before, some people, when you said more, it means darker skinned people. There's a group of people that believe it like that if you go to Europe. But that's some part of Europe. When you said more, it means you're a dead person. They hate you. That's where racism comes from. That's why a lot of them, when they see you, they feel like, yo, we should lynch you. That's the culture of more. They were lynching us, hanging us and pull us, burn us alive and shit. That's where that culture, when you said more, it's a dead person because they put a bounty on our head. Okay, so when you said
black means dead, black means dead.
that's another thing again. Yes,
Mentally
black mean
dead.
dead. Because when they burn you,
Right.
you fully black. Because after you get
Right.
crisped out from the burning, you look black, and it mean dead for them. That's what they want from you. It was ritual. That's why they celebrate that all of them come together for a picnic, right? And they have family watching you burning on the stick. And that's the black right there. It means dead's for them. So again, a lot of them also, what you just stated, when you said Moors, it triggered a memory. Remember, the Moors were the master for them. So right now they are in the culture of dominate black people, period. So they want to be they are the master right now. So when you said more, it triggered a memory like, yo, these people create you. That's the thing. The more created them, the more teach them everything they know. So for them, when you said more,
That's why they
it's
got
like
their kids
it's
on.
like yeah, it's like this shit triggered the memory, like, yo, yeah, you're not better than these people. Remember, these people created you. That's another thing. So that's why you find still today there's a war. That's why you find the Middle East war. Right now, so-called America always at war with the Middle East because it's the ancient war. It's the clone versus their creator. That's what it is.
The most
Oh, okay, you heard it right there. Let me kind of restate what he was saying, the voodoo chief. The reason many of these lynchings occur is because the Moors used to rule over the white people slash Caucasian. So now that the Caucasian is in dominance, they don't want to give up that dominance because they remember from whence they came. They're like, oh man, if these Moors figure out who they truly are, we got to give up our power. We got to give up our authority because we lost it to them. We only had it for this amount of time. We can't let them get the upper hand. We can't let them get on top. And it makes sense from a war's perspective. And that's what he was saying too. That's why these wars continue to exist in Iran, Iraq, Palestine, Afghanistan. All of this stuff is just all the same war. It's just it's the same group of people, same reason the war is being fought. In conclusion, we looked at the level of financial fear, the legacy of financial fear, and yes, there are levels to it as well. We designated and identified what is the history. Why do black people fear being rich? There's societal things. There's psychological things. We brought up Plutopia and how this is a real thing, not something to be laughed at. We talked about the fear of being rich getting you killed historically. And now this still goes on. It's just some of them are overt, where you actually see somebody hanging from a tree or being pulled behind a truck. Yes, that happens. Or you may be lynched in a humiliation ritual. Or you may be lynched to the tune of, oh, I'm going to sue you 10K, 20K, 80K, whatever, so I can bring you down to your level, as they say, to the level they think you should be. But here's how we resolve it. How do we get over the financial fear? Be aware. Number one, everything starts with the power of awareness. Do you have a financial fear? Identify it. Get honest with yourself. I'm afraid of dot, 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 dot. This happened to me in my life. This happened to my family. This happened to the people I know. This is where the fear is stemming from. Get with a practitioner, get with a mentor who can help you uncover some of these money woes, these money blocks, so you don't have to live your life outside of your dream. Your dream is a reality. Do not let your dream sit on the shelf for 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, where you keep saying, someday we'll be together. No, your someday is today. Activate it. Clean up this fear. Get with a mentor. Get in the, because it's in the energy that you can restore, heal a lot of these wounds, so that this legacy will not be passed on. You will be passing on a legacy of wealth. That has been another edition of News and Views. We will see you next time. Peace.